What is going on, lunatics? Guys, I'm here to make a special update because you guys have seen the news, you've heard the news. There is a project called Terraport, and that project called Terraport has rug pull. And many influencers, not this guy, but many influencers have been involved in this project to make it a reality. And there's been why? Because it was going to burn a lot of tokens. It was going to do all of the key things that if you tell people to do, it's going to do, right? It also had multiple people from different sectors. Terra-Vita, I believe, had people involved. Terraform Labs had people involved. Not Terraform Labs, but the Terra Rebels had people involved. Like they're just everybody seemed to be involved in one way or another. And now what we have is one of the more dynamic rug pulls that we've seen since the last Luna Classic collapse. And I hope you weren't part of it, because I certainly was not. Because here's the thing, I do marketing. I talk to you guys about price action, stuff like that. What I don't do is, or what I try not to do, is take the advice of other people who are doing the same thing that I'm doing, because I'm not a fan of what they're doing. And I don't trust that they have my better interest at heart, or your better interest at heart. You know what? Let's just go look. We're going to start with the price action right now. Price action right now, you can see, is dipping. And of course, this is not the end of Terra Luna Classic, or even much of a bad move. This is the 1 hour chart, by the way. You can see over here for the last couple of hours, you had a couple of big green candles and a couple of big red candles. So it's really just kind of trending here. But the general gist of it on this downside movement was already established, that it was coming down, that we're not looking at upward momentum. We're looking at downside. Now we've reached the 200 SMA. So the question is, will it pop back up, and will it come in between here? And if it ranges in between here, that's going to be an opportunity for some people, but it's really going to be for less than 1%. So you have to have massive sorts of holdings in order to make any sort of capital off of that. So it's not trending the best at this point. Now, here's what I will say. If you look here, you see we get to these moments, and we get this little core, we get this little move here, and then it starts to shoot back up. So the possibility certainly exists that you can see an upside move here in the 4 or 5% range. But the other thing is, you can kind of look and see that this is trending to the downside. So each one of these moves is going to be predictably less quote unquote violent as it moves up. So if we're right here, then what are we looking at? We're looking at about a 3.5% increase. Not a huge amount, but that's what the chart says. So we're gonna have to go with that. Now over here on the USTC side, same thing. You've seen it kind of. There's been a correlation here where they've been moving pretty much together, but the general consensus here is consolidation, and not a big. It's not a big positive. Look at volume real quick, and you can see here volume just kind of dissipated a little bit in the last bunch of hours, last couple of days. There's spikes here and there, but generally speaking, it's just been that low trading volume that we've become accustomed to for right now while this builds. And of course, now we've lost Zeradar, who is no longer working on the project. And some of you might be thinking that's a good thing, but any kind of turnover is not really a good thing. We just say stuff like that, like, well, maybe it's a good thing. It's not. This was a guy who was dedicated to the project and dedicated to the future of the project, and not to the right now to satisfy the Moon Boys and their burn protocols. Speaking of the Moon Boys and their burn protocols, what did we get from them? Well, we got an announcement, because they've been pushing this as hard as they can. A breach was detected in the Terraport liquidity wallet this morning. The Terraport team is currently investigating this breach, and efforts have been made to secure the protocol. Further official press release will be released later. We appreciate the understanding of our large community, right? And then you see we've got influencers out here. Everybody's got an opinion about it. Everybody's going to tell you about it, all the way down here. And you see some of the influencers coming in. Classy Crypto beside himself, because he was a big supporter, and every day he was telling you to invest your money in Terra. And guess what? Now a spectacular rug pull update. Sadly, during the last few hours, a hacker drained. Sadly, this starts with sadly, by the way. And let's call it for what it is. Okay, this is a brand new project not following anybody, that has 7,630 followers. It says it's finally arrived, the day Terra Classic has been waiting for. Terraport launch day, terraport.finance. Join us now and make crypto history and help start the Lunc recovery. So they're just telling you, hey, look, if you go to us, everything's going to be all right. We're going to start this recovery. Like, we are on the job. Now you come over here to terraport.finance, and what do you see? You see a nicely laid out website. Not horrible, right? So let's just look at the audit, shall we? Let's just look at the audit, right? Because we want to look at the audit, right? Where's the audit? Are you getting it yet? So why am I not involved? Why was I not involved? Well, because come on, guys, you should be better than this. Is clearly an issue, right? But let's go look. We're gonna look at volume here, and then I'm gonna close this out. 40 million in volume. Market cap still at 730 million, just ranging at that point. 5.8 million in USTC volume, 200 million market cap. It's all just kind of ranging at this point. But I mean, guys, Stevie Wonder could see this coming, right? Stevie Wonder could see this coming, and they don't have to do anything. That Terraport didn't have to do anything. All they had to do was tell you what you wanted to, not get an audit, leave a hole open, and allow it to be exploited. And we don't know who it is. We don't know why it happened at this point. Could it be some kind of bad actor in the ecosystem? Sure. Could it be one of the team members? Yeah. Could it be somebody who was associated with the team? Also, yes. There's no audit. You guys were taking this on spec that it was going to play out just fantastic with no audit. You know why? Because you make irrational decisions. You do stuff like, oh, let's get rid of Zeradar because he doesn't do a lot of burn. Now, I'm hypercritical of people who don't do a lot of burn either, not because I need it to burn, right? This is a long-term hold. If it's ever going to amount to anything, it's going to be a long-term hold. But what he was doing was he was building the ecosystem so that it could thrive at some point, and that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. Creating an ecosystem that could thrive was not enough. You had to have burns. You had to have 0.1% burn or 1% burn, and 0.2% is not enough, and on and on and on. Well, Moon Boys, I think you earned this one. It's not financial advice. My name is Bleeves. I'm always right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I apologize if you don't like the truth, because sometimes the truth is bad. But at the end of this, I hope you learned a lesson, and I hope that you didn't lose anything because you stayed invested in Luna Classic and not Terra. We'll talk to you again.
Check. Okay. Whoa, another shot of the bullet.